Yes, we can get started now, Sudipta.
Yeah. So my dad is triple P. He's Pramod, he's a pediatrician, and he's a photographer. So he started his photography somewhere in 1992, and for till about I think 2015 or so, he didn't pursue it very seriously. In the sense, the other P kept him very busy. So once he started getting more time, or rather, he was able to make more time, he started going on more trips. But he all through he used to go to nearby places, Nagarhole, Kabini, different wildlife parks in and around Karnataka, Rangantittu a lot. We used to go a lot to Rangantittu and other places in India. But from 2014 onwards, I think you've been doing a lot of out of India trips. He's gone to Africa multiple times, but also to some unique places which not everyone goes to, from Patagonia to Svalbard, which is closer to the North Pole. And he did a fourth P is parent. Yes, that's also true. So P to the power of 4. So he's actually pursued it for such a long time. He's got a lot of wonderful photographs, and he's a very thorough, patient photographer. He stays for hours together at a spot to get the perfect lighting and the perfect picture. And that kind of perseverance has allowed him to gain about 6,000 acceptances in photography salons. Those are international competitions for photography. So he's got 6,000 acceptances and about over 700 awards. So it's a delight to watch his photographs. All are on nature and photo travel. And he also has a few degrees in photography: ARPS from UK, EFIAP from Europe, and EPSA from USA. So we'll get started. See some of those amazing pictures. Here it is. Yeah.
Hello friends, good evening. Warm welcome to our photo travel presentation in collaboration or in association with my daughter Sudipta, who is always been my inspiration. At the outset, I wish to thank Akhila and Mrudula for organizing this show. During last 5 years, I have traveled in India and abroad with family members. My wife Geeta, or sometimes with my daughter or son-in-law Ashish. I am thankful to them for all their help during these trips and for keeping an eye on me and my luggage. I am so absent-minded. I want to present photos and some small photo-connected stories and in a geographical order from South Pole to the North Pole. Now let's start our journey from southernmost area that I have visited, that is Patagonia. Patagonia is an arid desert of nearly 1 million square kilometers. It is divided into two countries between Argentina and Chile, divided by these Andes Mountains. And also, we'll be visiting up north border of Argentina and Brazil to visit Iguazu Falls, which is one of the world's wonder. This is a typical scene of Andes Mountains, always cloudy and misty, gorgeous mountains, and you see guanacos. Guanacos are camel-like animals. They are very sure and swift-footed. They run on the slopes like, as if it is a plain ground. And they form the main base, prey base for these pumas, that is mountain lions. This is from this is from El Calafe, near El Calafe. There is one mountain range called Mount Fitzroy, named after the discoverer. It has another name, El Chaltan, which in local language means a smoking mountain. It is so called because of the clouds which are there covering it all around. This is from Chile, a small hotel in the midst of Lake Pehue. This is a small island-like thing and connected to the mainland through a narrow wooden bridge. This offers a grand view of the Torres del Paine, that is a mountain range to the right of, on the right side.
This area, yeah.
This area, but they can't see.
Yeah, they can see the mouse. Yeah.
This is the view in the morning site of the Torres del Paine. Torres in Spanish means towers and Paine means blue. They are basically made up of granite and they are blue in color. But in the mornings, it is lit by the morning sun and it gets the warm colors. During these mornings, the distance between Earth and the sun is the maximum. So during this long journey, in the spectrum, the warm colors are lost. I mean, the cool colors are lost, and only the warm colors reach the Earth. That's why we have the warm colors like orange, red, or pink. So this is the Torres del Paine range, and these towers are also called as Cleopatra's needles. It's about 2,500 meters tall. Now we are going up north to see the Iguazu waterfalls complex. I say it's a complex because it is spread over 2.75 kilometers and there are more than 275 individual falls. And some waterfalls are at multiple levels. If one stands on the footbridge, he can be surrounded by 260 degrees of water everywhere. Next. This is a view from Brazilian side. Most of the waterfalls is in Argentina side, but the spectacular view is from the Brazil side. The Iguazu River actually takes origin in Brazil, Paraná district, and then it forms a boundary between Argentina and Brazil. So this is the most interesting part of the waterfalls complex. It's called Devil's Throat. Here, it's nature's spectacular show of sight and sound, and also another S, that is spray. And this spray can turn into a shower anytime, and one has to be prepared to get drenched. It's really wonderful, and for we Indians, it's a kind of connecting with the nature or God, you can say. One feels so humbled standing in front of this waterfalls complex that you feel so small in front of nature. It's really a great experience. I wish every one of you visit this waterfalls. Now let's move up north, almost near the equator, a small country called Costa Rica. It is in between North and South Americas in the isthmus. It's a small country of about 51,000 square kilometers and about 51 lakhs population. It's a very peace-loving country and it doesn't have an army of its own. That's very interesting. And most of this one is done by the paramilitary forces. Costa Rica means rich coast. It's very rich in biodiversity, very rich in tropical bird life. Let's have a look at some of the denizens. This is a brown hooded parrot. Parrots have a typical beak and zygodactyl feet. That means 2 toes in front and 2 at the back. to give it a firm grip on the perches. There are more than 350 varieties of parrots in the tropical forest. Let's have a look at some other parrots. This is one on the left side is Amazon parrot, and one on the right is crimson-fronted parakeet. Parakeets are same as parrots, but generally they are smaller and they have a long tail feathers.
Yeah, so actually in India we have only parakeets except
Parakeet.
for
Vernal hanging parrot. Only one. We have only one parrot, but the rest are all parakeets. Orange-chinned parrots is a small parrot. Macaws are also, they also belong to the parrot family. Multicolored, and when they fly, it's actually, it looks like a rainbow in flight, you know. And one more variety of macaw, it is scarlet macaw, very, very brilliantly colored. And they have a typical call. They mainly live on nuts. Woodpeckers are found everywhere except Arctic, Antarctic, and Australia, 3As. There are more than 180 varieties of woodpeckers, and they mainly live on insects in the hollows of the tree of the bark of the trees, and some of them live on fruits also. Another type, a pale-billed woodpecker, and black-cheeked woodpecker.
very pretty.
Toucans, there are about 18 varieties of toucan. The characteristic feature is large, ornate beak, and the beak is hollow. So, in spite of the size, it is very light and doesn't weigh much on the bird. It's actually photographically challenged to retain the fine feather details in the throat, because even a little more light, the whole thing gets burnt and the details are lost. Another type of toucan, there is also another subset called toucanets. They are generally a little smaller, but they also have this type of beak. Collared araceris, they also are a part of toucan family. Roughly there are about 18 species in this toucans.
This one looks like it's been painted.
Painted, yes.
Saw-like
Yeah.
thing and all that.
Yeah. And Oropendolas, they have typical pointed beaks and long tail feathers, and there will be some yellow in the tail feathers. That is the three characteristics of this bird.
How big is it?
This is about between 9 and 12 inches. This is another type of Oropendola. This is called Montezuma. Here the lighting is very interesting. Light is coming from the back and the side, and you can see the light leading on to the bird. And again, notice that yellow tail feathers.
Yeah.
And pointed beak. Next. This russet-naped wood-rail, it is found near water, looking for insects and small crustaceans. Another bird which stays which stays near the water is a little green heron. You can see a small fry in its beak. Barbets, there are many varieties of barbets, but in this, generally it is the male which is very colorful compared to the female of the species. This is called red-headed barbet. As the name suggests, you can see the red head.
It's like
in birds, it is the male of the species which is more colorful and larger. I don't know whether it applies to the humans also.
highly doubt it.
Tanagers, there are more than 400 varieties. They are small passerine birds, and they are categorized as songbirds. Very beautiful. Here also, the male of the species is much more beautiful than the female.
It's bigger than sparrow size, or
It's almost like a sparrow size. It mainly lives on the fruits. This is another tanager, a flame-colored tanager.
Akhila says male birds are also more responsible.
Just like humans, right? Golden fronted tanager. This is extremely difficult to photograph because all these feathers here, they are all reflectile, and it's very difficult to retain the finery of these feathers. Silver-throated tanager, again male of the species. This is almost like a sparrow which is painted, you know.
Yeah, the eyes also very nice.
Yes.
Pattern around the eyes.
Yeah. Scarlet rump tanager, as the name suggests, you can see the red rump or scarlet
It
rump.
looks like a velvet head.
Hummingbirds, they are small birds, about 4 to 5 inches. They are hovering specialists. It can hover for a very long time, and on the wings, it drinks the nectar or the sugar water which is put on the flowers. And they are the only type of birds which can fly backwards and upside down also. There are more than 40-50 varieties of these hummingbirds. This is called a lesser violet ear. As the name suggests, you can see the violet near the below the eyes. The Talamanca hummingbird, that white spot near the eye is very characteristic. Sometimes they share the same flowers, very cooperative birds. Honey creepers, again, males are very beautiful. This is a red-legged honey creeper. And this is the female. You can make out. This is the male, which is so colorful. And this is the female, comparatively less attractive.
Actually, totally different colors. This is blue and this is green.
Yeah. But beak is same. This is another honey creeper, a green honey creeper. This bird also is very difficult to photograph. This is a vulture, and as the name suggests, it is a king vulture. It's very, very shy and elusive, very difficult to photograph. So this was taken from a hide. To attract this vulture, they would put some carcass, and they come to feed on that. And sitting inside, not seen by the bird, we can take photographs. Black and green poisonous dart frog. They are called dart frog because in the earlier years, the hunters used to extract toxin from this frog, and they used to lace this toxin on their arrows to hunt. This secretes a toxin called bactrotoxin, which is very neurotoxic. That is, it will paralyze that victim. And it is stored in the sweat glands in the skin folds. The poison extracted from one frog can kill 10 humans. So strong is the poison. Emerald glass frogs, there are more than 120 to 140 varieties. They have a very translucent outer shell. And actually, in the next slide, you can see the inside of the viscera, that is the stomach. This was taken by putting the frog on a plastic sheet and photo taken from below. And you can see the blood vessels and the visceral content also.
Skeleton and you can also on the legs.
Yeah, and you can see the suction pods which it uses to adhere to the surface. So this is a very remarkable feature. And this is the national frog of Costa Rica, red-eyed tree frog. Uh, um, this also requires a lot of humidity or water. If it gets dried, then it becomes very inactive. And you can see the eardrum of the
The light green patch.
light green patch. This is the eardrum of that frog. And as the name suggests, it is a red-eyed tree frog. It mainly lives on the insects. It is non-poisonous. So another picture of the tree frogs. This picture has won many awards, international awards. Now let's move up north, and we are on the equator. And for a wildlifer, this East Africa is the Mecca. Most of the wildlife is concentrated in Kenya, Tanzania, and to some extent Botswana and South Africa. That way, every country in Africa has some wildlife, but the concentration is more in Kenya, Tanzania. We have made several trips, and Sudipta has joined me for 2 trips, one to Kenya and one to Tanzania. And Ashish accompanied me to Botswana. So this is 2 of us near a waterfalls. African, these plains, they are called grasslands or savanna, and it supports millions of ungulates, wildebeest, zebras, and all that. Here the light is coming from the back, and that is highlighting the beards of the wildebeest. Early morning picture. During the month of February, these wildebeests congregate in a place called Dutu, and it is spelled as Ndutu. N is half pronounced, Ndutu, and they gather there in millions. That is the time rains would have just come, and tender grass grows. So that's why these animals come to this place and deliver, so that ready-made grass is there for the newborns to eat. And they calve in the month of February. There are 2 very strange things about, not strange, very characteristic of this wildebeest. That is, the pregnant wildebeest can postpone their delivery by almost 2 weeks. That is, if the rains have failed or if the rains are not proper, they will not deliver till such time the rain comes. And the second thing is, there is a very strong herd mentality. Even if one wildebeest decides to deliver, in next 48 hours, millions of wildebeest would have delivered. And one more thing is, whenever a newborn or whenever new calf is born, the uncles and the aunts and the cousins, they all come to have a look, just like human beings going to maternity wards to see the newborn. It's very interesting. All of them come, they have a look. And during this trip, my wife, Dr. Geeta, was accompanying me. She's a gynecologist, and she recorded it on her camcorder, and also she timed about the delivery. It's a matter of habit, probably. And she told me it takes only about 150 seconds for the limp calf to get up and walk with the mother. Just 150 seconds. In the next picture, yeah, you can see it is struggling to get up, and then it reaches for the udder. Even before the placenta has totally separated, it has started suckling, and with that energy, you can see the cord here, umbilical cord. So what happens is, how does it get cut? There is no midwife or doctor. See, what happens is, the wildebeest delivers it when it is standing, and with force the calf is thrown away, and during that force the cord snaps, and you can see the separated cord, and next minute they are off. They start walking with the herd, because there is security in the group. And during the month of August and July and August, millions, nearly 2.5 millions of wildebeest cross over from Tanzania to Kenya, and also about a couple of lakhs of zebras follow them. They come there because the rains would have just ended and grass would have grown, and these are the best known lawn mowers. Within days, they will raise the whole grass to ground, and it's a very magnificent sight. I have tried to capture the spirit and the scale of this movement in next few frames. All of them congregate on the bank and just wait for the signal. And if one decides, the distance between the water and the bank is nearly 10 to 15 feet. So they walk down the slope wherever there is possible, and some even jump. They don't bother what happens to them. And that gives a lot of dust, and that lighting makes it very interesting. And they form different shapes and lines.
Yeah.
Here you see the double C type of formation crossing over. Here they all have congregated on the floor of the river, but even at this moment, it's not guaranteed that they will cross. If one decides to go back, the whole herd goes back, kicking up all the dust. And it's a very interesting formation called S formation. And if you observe in this corner,
Here, left lower corner, you can see the snout.
crocodile waiting. Suppose one strays away from the line, then it falls prey to this one. See, you can see. So this is the time they feast on the wildebeest and zebras. Lions, during their mating time, they separate. The pair separates from the pride, and they mate several times a day for several days. And during this time, they don't hunt or they eat. Just they go to the these water bodies and quench their thirst. So this goes on for nearly a week.
Yeah, this was on our trip to Amboseli National Park, which is actually famous for elephants. And we came upon this group of hyenas. What is a group of hyenas called? Do you know the word for it? I don't remember. A clan of hyenas, and they were in a full-on fight with this lioness and her cubs. And we were trying to figure out what it is that they are fighting over. And it turned out to be, you can see the boar, you can see the tusks. And it was actually just the head. There was nothing else left in that carcass, just the skin and the head. Almost nothing is remaining, but hyenas and lions are arch enemies. So when the hyenas came to take away whatever was left of the carcass, the lions actually had abandoned and they were leaving. But because the hyenas were trying to get at it, they have such animosity that the lioness came back and fought for it. She didn't want the hyenas to have whatever was left. And it was a very, very intense fight for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Finally, the lioness got it back, and she, she walked away with it. She didn't allow the hyenas to take it. But they put up a very, very big fight.
Yeah. Cheetahs cheetah's litter contains 3 to 5 cubs, and we were lucky to photograph this group with 6 cubs. Actually, okay, next.
Yeah, this was,
The-
I was there for this one. It was our
Yeah.
first sighting that morning, first trip in the morning. It was, I think, around not even 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, pre-dawn.
Pre-dawn.
Yeah.
It just, the light had just started coming, and we came upon this cheetah with her cubs. And they were playing for a very long time with the mother, and the mother teaches them how to cross, how to jump, moving about.
Yeah, the cubs generally stay with the mother for nearly 18 months, during which time mother teaches them the hunting techniques, then ambushing techniques, like that. And the cheetahs, though they deliver 3 to 5 cubs, the infant mortality is very high. Hyenas and lions, they predate on the young ones. The cheetah with 6 cubs, which I showed, the mother had laid 7 cubs, and within a day, it lost 1 cub, and we could see only 6. So this is how the mother teaches them hunting. It catches a hold of a young fawn, and without killing it, it gives it to the cubs to practice the hunting skills. And most importantly, the tripping, which is the success to the hunt. Here they are seen practicing. Next, see, it follows. It first it doesn't know how to kill, or how it doesn't even know that it is its food. So that's why the mother makes it into a kind of a play. See, now here it is learning to trip. It is putting its hand and trying to trip. And it's almost there. And it has tripped. Beginning of the end. And they start eating that under the watchful eyes of mother. And when the cubs are grown-ups, they help mother in hunting. Cheetah has a very small head and very small jaws, and it cannot bring down a fully grown impala like this. It's just not possible for it to bring it down. Here, this mother is a very famous cheetah in Masai Mara. She is called Malaika. Malaika in Swahili means angel. So here the cubs are seen helping the mother. The one is has bitten the rear of the impala, and the other one is seeing how to bring it down. And this is how they learn how to strangle the prey. And alone it is not possible unless it is a coalition of cheetahs. Here you can see this is the one on the right side is the mother. And see how cleverly it has placed itself between the horns of the Grant's gazelle. Grant's gazelle is, it weighs about 30 to 40 kilos. And it is just not possible to bring it down alone. So here the cub is trying to help. It is trying to hold on to the
Leg.
gazelle, and so that the mother can continue to strangle the Grant's gazelle. African elephants are different from Asian elephants. They have large ears, they have a large body, and both male and female elephants have tusks. And during the early days, the calf is totally dependent on mothers for everything, for suckling and for transporting and for playing. And the whole herd takes its turn to spend time with the calf, and the bonding goes on. This is just born calf. We were lucky to see this. See how protective is the mother, how it is shielding. This is from Amboseli. Sudipta was there with me. This is the kind of herds we see in Amboseli, which is not seen anywhere else except Chobe River in Botswana, where they congregate during the summertime, when there is no water elsewhere, they all congregate to Chobe River.
Yeah, here this is the first place I've seen where the elephant herds are in hundreds. The line will go on and on and on. You have to wait for 15-20 minutes for them to cross over. Such a long line, huge herds. Huh?
Yeah, huge, very huge herds. And this is from Chobe River. And elephants are also excellent swimmer. They swim and reach these small islands which open up during the summer. During rainy season, they are all submerged, and once the water level comes down, and these small islands are opened up, and there they get the tender grass. So elephants come onto these grassy islands, and actually here we don't approach, elephants approach us. It's a very unique place. These young elephants practicing jostling or play fighting, and this is the way they they get exercise also, and some kind of bonding. The one on the left is kind of blessing the younger one. And olive baboons, they are very dangerous, but very good mothers. Here you can see the young one suckling. This is olive baboon. Leopards are very elusive. Either they stay in rocky outcrops or on the trees. Generally, they are not seen on the ground. And they are very good mothers. They spend a lot of time with their young ones. This is from Seronera, that is Serengeti. This is my favorite picture because I like it because of the background. The autumn leaves, which are yellow, they match the coat of the leopard. It's a mother leopard. And I was very happy taking this picture. As I told you, leopards are very good mothers. They spend a lot of time with their cubs. Some shots. This is from Lake Nakuru. And rhinos, this is a black rhino, and the other one is a white rhino. Actually, white is not white, it is also gray, but the word has come from wide, and over the years it became white. This is from Gorongoro. This is from Botswana. Wild dog, they usually live in packs, and they hunt in packs. They are also called painted wolves because of the markings on their coat. This is a very special frog, African bullfrog. It weighs as much as 3 kilos and almost 9 inches. This is a male, and it's a biting frog, and it's a carnivore frog, and sometimes it eats its own progeny. If it doesn't get food, it cannibalizes on the tadpoles. Africa not only is known for its big fayos, it also has rich bird life, very colorful birds. This is a purple grenadier. This is a starling. There are more than 7 to 18 types of glossy starlings. They are so called because of the feathers are all very glossy. Each feather is something like a prism. So when the light passes through that, it gives the spectrum of light. Great blue-eared starling, another starling, glossy starling.
There's going to be a quiz at the end.
Bagel effect weaver. This is the male of the species. You might be knowing that it is the male which builds the nest, and the female visits these nests. Only if they approve of the nest, the male gets the mating right. Something like house building, and it has to be new every year. So you see a lot of empty, discarded nests hanging. Uh, this is the Baglophect weaver. This is the red-headed weaver, very industriously constructing or weaving the nest. You can see the raw material in its beak. Yeah, this is a meadow bird, yellow-breasted long claw. It's known because of the long claws at the in the talons. This is another variety, rosy-breasted long claw.
Superb light.
Early morning light. And this is a fan-tailed widow bird eating the seeds. It's called widow bird because of the black color it has. This is a very early morning scene, just at the daybreak, and it's a pair of fish eagles having a quiet moment with each other. And it mainly lives on the fish. You can see the catfish in its talons. Long-crested eagle, one type of eagle in Africa. And this is saddle-billed stork. Look at the multiple colors, red, yellow, black, and white in the body. And very, very, very beautiful, attractive bird. But the exact purpose of this bill is not, such an ornate bill is not known. Black-breasted bustard. Here I like this picture because of the beautiful framing by the grass blades, and it's calling out for a mate. Black-crowned crane. Generally, these pair of cranes, they live for throughout their life. They are very faithful birds. This is a special type of guinea fowl found only in Samburu National Park in Kenya. It's called vulturine. The other one is very common. It's called a helmeted guinea fowl. Now India, and over to Sudipta.
Yeah, there are a few pictures here. Actually, we have traveled a lot in India. My dad and I have gone to, I think, about 17 years back, we did our first father-daughter trip, but that time it was not digital, so it's not easy to show any of those pictures, so we're not showing it. That we had gone to Velavadar and Gir National Park. We also traveled in the north of India quite a bit, Rajasthan, and gone to Bharatpur Sanctuary and all of that. But today we will be sharing only a few pictures from our recent trips. We went to Tal Chhapar and Bikaner a couple of years ago in January, and we went to Coorg this year. So we'll just sharing a few pictures from those two trips. So we're starting with Coorg, and here we went to a place called Hornbill's Nest, and this place has a setup for photography where they have these beautiful mossy branches set up for birds to perch on, and we had a really good sighting, but it was raining all throughout. So you can see a little bit of rain in the back. I don't know if you can see, there are a few drops. So pretty much the entire time it was drizzling. This is a spotted dove. And we saw lots and lots of bulbuls and yellow-browed bulbuls, red-vented bulbul, red-cheeked bulbuls. And they all kind of fight with each other. All small birds, they all fight for the food, and it was interesting to see their interactions. So this one is a portrait of a yellow-browed bulbul. And here is this is the bird we
Star
went to
species.
see. Yeah, because I hadn't seen a grey hornbill, so I wanted to see it. It was my first time, and we didn't see it for the first three times, 3 sessions. And on the final day when we were leaving, we were lucky to get a sighting of the grey hornbill. So we were very happy. It was a successful trip. And this is from Tal Chapar. So we went to Tal Chapar, which is in the northwestern part of Rajasthan. We were expecting to see a lot of raptors, and that's why we had gone in winter. Once we got there, we realized that there was not a lot of bird activity going on. We had been misguided by the person who ran the place there, saying, please come, there is a lot of activity. But we were still happy. We saw a lot of black bucks there, and we saw fox as well. But otherwise, we didn't see any activity. But we realized why we went there. And that's because it was the day of Shankranti, and it's kite flying season, and it's a very big thing in Rajasthan. Of course, most of North India, kite flying is a very big thing. What happens is all of these kites from Jaipur and all the surrounding villages, they just keep flying. They just cut and fly, right? And they all land up in these vast, large areas like Tal Chapar, which is a national park. And if you can see in my hand, there are meters, not a few feet, but meters and meters of this nylon sharp wire. All of these hundreds of kites were strewn all over Tal Chapar. And since we didn't have anything else to do, we sat and cleaned up the park. So that's pretty much all we did there. So actually by the end, our trunk, the front seat, everything was full of kites. What happens is if the kite is left, the colorful part actually does no damage. It's paper and bamboo which degenerates, but the rest of it, the thread is a nylon thread. It doesn't degenerate, and the birds, some of them have glass. We didn't find any, but many people put glass on that wire so that they can cut each other. It's a fighting thing for kites. I guess it's a traditional thing, manjra. So we didn't find any with those, but the issue is that when the birds are walking on the grassland, they are not able to see it and they trip over it. So many of them get injured because these are very, very sharp and rough, unlike grass and other natural materials. So that was that. And we got to also visit a beautiful Haveli in Bikaner called Bhanwar Niwas. The Rampuria family owns this Haveli, and it's converted into a hotel now. I definitely recommend going to that place. It's beautiful, a huge courtyard, and you get to see a lot of architecture from that time. All right, so now we'll move on to Greece. We went it was a big family trip. We were 11 of us, I think, that went. My cousins, family, my parents, and my family, so all of us. We start in Athens. This is the Parthenon at pre-dawn. So the place we stayed at was right at the border of the Parthenon complex. So Parthenon is in Parthenon. There is a temple for Athena. There is, the city of the Acropolis. All of it is there, and right at the edge of it is where we were staying. We stayed in an apartment. We walked up to the we went during Easter, and Easter timing is slightly different in Europe because they follow the Orthodox calendar, not the our calendar. So when we got there, we didn't know it was Easter because we had already celebrated Easter here and then gone, and we found everything was closed there. The whole city was kind of shut down, and everybody in Greece loves to party. that night we walked up to the terrace in our complex, and we could see the Parthenon directly from the terrace. It was a beautiful sight. And while going to bed, we realized that the lights are kept on in Parthenon. It was specially for Easter. Otherwise, the lights are switched off. So very early in the morning, we set the alarm and we went up to the terrace. Climbed. So yeah, Daddy was trying to get the perfect view for his photograph, and it was not working out from ground level. So we stacked a table, on top of that a chair, and he climbed all of that, took the support of the grill and took this photograph. So it was quite a circus. We had to hold the chair, and he wanted the perfect shot. This was just before the sun came up, and this was just after the sun started to rise. So yeah, Mridula, it's always an adventure with my father. I've seen him, you'll see some more pictures of that, of all the things he does to get his photographs. This was at the marketplace in Greece. So these are all like family pictures that we have. This was at the Acropolis, and that's Rahul and me, some yoga poses. When we saw this street, my father said, it's such a beautiful street. It was actually shining, it was polished. So
very clean.
Very, very clean. So he said, let's take a picture here. And I thought it was a good place to do a yoga pose. Hanuman Asana, crossing over from India to Lanka. And one thing about Greece is we went in April, which is springtime for them. It was pretty cold. And what we loved about the entire experience, we were there for 10 days. Every field was filled with flowers of different colors. And one smell which stayed with us through the entire journey was the chamomile flowers. So some of you may be familiar, chamomile is used in teas to help you relax. So it was a very relaxing trip, just the smell of these flowers everywhere. We'll move on to Turkey now. The following year, which is last year, we went to Turkey. This was also a big family trip, and we added on my brother's family also. Here, we started in Kusadasi, and this is a street photography picture. A lot of umbrellas hanging in the market area there. And I have another picture here. So for me, I don't photograph wildlife and all that, but I find it interesting to see different perspectives in just street photography. So if you just look at the colors, these also look beautiful, but if you look at the shadows of the umbrellas, you get circles with no color. It's black and white. This is the city of Ephesus, which is in ruins now. It's a very, very big complex. It took us several hours to cover the complex. It was built in around the 10th century, and it's off the coast of Ionia. Very, very close from the ruins. You can see the water just a few miles down. It was a flourishing city, and you can see it just with the number of pillars and the kind of architecture that they have. The passageways are huge, and it was interesting to see that they had group toilets and some interesting things there. At the back, you can see one structure, and that is the library, the Library of Celsus. So Aquila's the namesake, Aquila, Aquila. So Celsus was the father of Aquila. So Aquila built it in his honor. And by the time it was completed, Aquila had passed on. This is the third largest library of the Roman Empire, and it was destroyed. The contents of it, about 25,000 scrolls, that's like the largest collection, one of the largest collections of scrolls, completely destroyed in a fire. And then the facade, which you see now, this was also completely destroyed in an earthquake a few years later. what they have done now is they have kind of reconstructed it. So you can see some of it is the actual pillars, some of it is, you know, the plaster and concrete. You can see some of it is plain, some of it is the original stone. They've rebuilt it, and we can only imagine how much grandeur and beauty was there for the full building at one time. This is a picture from Hagia Sophia. It's also pronounced as Hagia Sophia. Some people say Hagia, some people say Hagia, but both are correct. This place has a very interesting history. It started off as a church in the Byzantine Empire, and it was the largest church in Eastern Europe at one point. Soon after, when the Ottomans took over, they converted it into a mosque. So the building itself, you can see here that there's a lot of construction. So we went in 2019, lot of rework was happening in the section. So what is interesting is the entire Istanbul has had so many earthquakes that some buildings have been reconstructed from scratch multiple times, 2-3 times. This particular one, we found it difficult to climb some of the stairs because entire sections of the staircase are missing. So there's a lot of rework happening in the building. If you see from here at the very end, we are not even at the middle of the church. You can see the dome is still ahead of us. So it is a huge church. And at the very end, you can see a small motif on the wall, the mural. This is Jesus and Mary. When the Ottomans took over, any reference to Christ or Mary was plastered over completely. So this is all what is it called? When the archaeologists go and
excavation.
Not excavation. This is they kind of remove the plaster carefully to show the mosaics and the paintings behind. I'm not getting the word anyway. So another interesting thing is that these are the domes, many domes in the place. You can see that, you know, all the angel paintings have been replaced. They didn't want any reference to the angels there. And another interesting thing is this is actually the middle of the church, but because they have to point to Mecca, it's at an angle. So when you enter the building, it kind of looks very strange because nothing is symmetrical. Everything has changed from a church to a mosque. And apparently this year, they converted it back from, so it was a mosque, operational mosque for a very long time. And when it became the Secular Republic of Turkey, the government made it a museum in 1935. But apparently from this year, it has again been converted into a mosque. This was seen from the Grand Bazaar. Lot of pottery, a lot of colors. You can see the dry fruits were there. Yeah, a lot of dry fruits also. So this is also from Cappadocia. They have a lot of pottery. So we attended a pottery workshop of sorts. Okay, now back to you, Iceland.
Thank you. That was very lovely explanation. Now let's move north to Iceland, which is just outside the Arctic Circle. Mainly, we visited capital Reykjavik and Snæfellsnes Peninsula up to here, Vik and Reykjavik. Only this much portion we covered in about a week's time. Iceland is also called a land of ice and fire because you have ice and fire because of it has many active volcanoes. This is a view of a glacier, and the chunks of ice separated from the glacier flows down into the sea, and that gets in turn washed away onto the shore, which is called Diamond Beach. Here, the Diamond Beach is made up of black lava sand, unlike our yellow sand, it is black sand. And morning when the sunlight, warm sunlight comes, they shine like diamonds and emeralds. Very beautiful first 1.5 to 2 hours of morning. Again, very enterprising photographer is in the right in the middle of water, trying to photograph the this fiery horizons with bluish ice chunks. So some photos from there. This is from Kirkufella Falls, very, very iconic. If you go to Iceland, in all the shops, you have this picture postcards. The mountain is called Kirkufell, and the waterfalls is the Kirkufella Falls. FOSS, Foss in Iceland language means waterfalls. And during the winters, sometimes it whole falls gets frozen. And imagine seeing a aurora borealis in the backdrop. Fantastic, but we were not lucky to see that. This is another touristy site called Arnarstapi. Here the mornings are very gorgeous. And this is a natural arch. And when the big glacier melts, the bottom portion melts, it forms enormous cavernous caves, and they are the very popular tourist spots for taking pictures, selfies, and things like that. Yeah, here you can see it's incidentally an Indian couple, a honeymooning couple. And Iceland has got many beautiful churches. This is called Black Church, and we have small chapels. This is a red chapel, and this is a green church. And interestingly, they have grown grass over the roof. And this is Aurora Borealis. Aurora Borealis means northern light, and the same phenomena occurs in southern hemisphere, which is called Aurora Australis. When the sun rays interact with the atoms in the outer atmosphere, they release photons. Photons are nothing but photo-emitting diodes, and they light up the sky. And when there is a breeze and wind, it keeps changing, and it looks like a celestial dance. You can see the various types of patterns it has made. Yeah, this is from our hotel. We were lucky to see it. These auroras are graded from 1 to 5. And the day we were there, it was almost about 4. We were lucky. And depending on the ions in the atmosphere, the light color changes: green, yellow, and sometimes pink. Pink is very rare. Pink happens only when there is oxygen atoms. Generally, it is green, which is nitrogen. Next. Yeah. Now, our final destination, Norway. It is near the North Pole, 81.3 degrees north. And this Svalbard is an archipelago north of Norway. It's a small cluster of islands, and only one island is inhabited by man, about 2,000 population, and it boasts of northernmost post office in the world, and
High place.
Thai place, continental. It has many things to its credit. And it is an independent country, but governed by Norway. Actually, you don't need a visa to go there, but you have to go there. You have to go to Norway. That means you have to take a visa from Norway. And this picture was taken at 11 o'clock at night. Sudipta,
we went in the summer.
Yeah. It was 24 hours light, and this was taken at 11 o'clock in the night. Sudipta drove us She was a great help. And these are geese,
Geese.
geese, and with young ones. This is the kind of light you see throughout the day, non-contrasty. There are no
Throughout the
shadows.
day and night.
Through the day
24
and night,
hours.
yeah. So sometimes it is difficult to sleep because it is so bright outside, and it's a non-contrasty light. And miles of white wilderness, punctuated by these icebergs and occasional polar bear. And polar bears are excellent swimmers too, because they have to go into the sea to catch the seal. It has a very slender neck and a small head, and it has a black body to retain the heat, and this one thick layer of blubber to retain the heat, and white fur to camouflage. And they go from one island to the other. This was taken at 84.1 degrees north, and it has just killed the seal, and it was feeding on it. And it is left behind a trail, dragging the carcass from one ice floe to the other.
Yeah, the ice floes keep moving. So it had dropped it off in one place and it was moving
So
about.
it was trying to reach again. So another frame from the same scene. And it doesn't waste food at all because the food is so sparse. The population of seal is getting less and less because of the constant hunting. And this was taken from our porthole of the ship, on the ground floor, you can say.
Mm.
And just outside was this bear, hardly 20 feet away. And I rate it as one of the best photos of my lifetime because it is taken lesser than the ground level. Ground level means you have to lie down on the ice and take. But we were lower than the ice floor. And this is how the bear was looking at me, 20 feet away.
They're quite dangerous animals.
Yeah. If you are out, then you are out. And Arctic has a good wild bird life also. During this summer, these guillemots, black-headed guillemots, they come to Arctic to breed. That time, the aquatic life is very active, and birds get a lot of food. So they come here to breed, and there is a lot of competition for these ledges. You can see the next picture. These are the ledges on which they make their so-called nests, and there is a severe competition for this nest. And one advantage for them is polar bear, which generally prey on these nests and chicks. They can't reach, but they are not safe totally. They are not totally safe because these glaucous gulls, they raid the unguarded nests. And one more thing interesting about this guillemots is, see, they have exactly 6 weeks window to mate, breed, and raise the chicks. Only thing which is in their favor is it is 24 hours. So 24 hours of light. So they make a lot of sorties and catch the fishes and feed. So by 6 weeks, they have to leave this Alcafele bird cliff. Otherwise, they will die because of the winter. They are not suited for that cold atmosphere. So they have to leave this place by 6 weeks. And during this transit to going to another warmer place, a lot of birds get perished. And this is a very special bird. It's an Arctic tern. It flies all the way from Antarctic to Arctic to breed. And after breeding, it goes all the way back to Antarctic. So this is the longest migratory route known to man. And most of the time of the year, the Earth is covered by snow and ice, and nothing can grow there. But come summer, when the ice melts and the Earth shows its vibrant colors. Arctic fox, this is a summer coat, and it changes its coat once the winter comes. It's all white. Here it is trying to camouflage using the colors of the stones and grass. Bearded seal, favorite prey of polar bear.
Exposing.
Lord. And if you are lucky, you can see the humpback whale or beluga whale breaching.
So this is the kind of ship that we were on, the one that you see in the background, kind of like that.
It's a small ship, about 15 people with 6 or 7 crew, I think.
Yeah.
About 20 people. This is a humpback whale breaching. And we can go near the these glaciers on these zodiacs. Zodiacs are nothing but inflatable boats, and we can really go near the glacier. It is extremely cold there. And that's two of us, aliens. And Sujita was of great help. She not only helped in carrying and organizing my gear, also she scouted for the best spots for or angles for photography. And that's our ship at the back,
Yeah.
MS Origo. And I end my show with this picture. This is a picture of a polar bear, hungry, doesn't know what to eat. And what it is trying to eat is a plastic. This plastic has come from thousands of kilometers away, or garbage from some luxury ships, you know. The garbage that is thrown mindlessly into the sea, finally it finds its place in these pristine areas. And we are really doing a lot of damage to our ecosystem. So it's up to us human beings to take responsibility and behave more responsible in disposing of our garbage and use less and less of plastics. Thank you for your patient viewing. And any question? And if you have any questions.
And also, who can tell the name of this bird? It was there in the presentation.
Yes.
Oh no.
Glossy starling.
Huh?
Glossy starling.
Yeah, which one?
Which starling?
Ah. Black-headed.
Half point, Akhila.
No, this is a clue.
Clue.
Blue-breasted glossy starling.
No.
Ashe.
This.
Look at this gesture. It is superb.
Superb.
Oh.
After sharing. There was one question earlier on which I saw after we had moved on. How did you protect your camera gear in the waterfall area in Iguazu?
Yeah, I had carried one plastic bag, and very near that devil's throat, I kept inside the bag. And generally, we take better care of camera than our own body.
Awesome, Shanbhag uncle. This is just amazing. Like beautiful journey from the South Pole to the North Pole. It's superb. And we'd like to open it up for questions. Any of you have questions, comments, please unmute yourself and ask now.
Actually, the presentation was, this is Yogesh, by the way. I'm Akhila's uncle. the presentation was very, very informative and wonderful. And the commentary that goes along makes it even much more informative and better. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Surendra, you are there? Yeah. I see.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, he was there for a while.
Yeah,
He is there. He's there.
Hi, Pramod.
Surendra.
Can you hear me? Oh,
Yeah.
lovely.
I can't see you. I can hear you.
I don't know where to just press for the thing. You can hear me all right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Sudipta, my God, you've been a great help to my friend. Huh?
She's my inspiration.
Yeah.
My pleasure, uncle. I get to travel everywhere.
Yeah, I appreciate. It's a good family get together and nice thing. Keep going. Keep going.
We're waiting
stop.
for everything to open up again.
Yeah. COVID will, go and you can start again all over. And please share. I mean, we learn so much. Just not the mere picture, but the explanation behind it. That's more interesting. Okay. All the best.
Thank you.
Sudipta, nice to see you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Same here.
Huh?
Listening to you after a long time.
Yeah, we'll catch up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sumesh Bhatt. First, let me congratulate, the amazing presentation, Dr. Ma'am. Shanbhag Ma'am, actually, each slide or each photograph told a story, and you are a storyteller also. That is, apart from photographer, I think your biodata should include that, a storyteller. Every photograph told a story, and it's told in such a beautiful manner. I think this whole video is a keepsake, in my opinion. I should do the needful and give that to us, forward it to us, the link, so that we can preserve it. It's something really amazing experience, Shanbhag Ma'am. I think congratulations and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kashyap says it was a googly presentation. Never knew this side of Dr. Ma'am. Enjoyed every minute.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Kashyap.
So how do you prepare yourself for these
presentation, awesome pictures, real-time experience.
What is that, Akhila?
I was asking, how do you prepare yourself for these trips to carry all of the gear and go around? You have to really fit.
I go to the gym. Photography is my inspiration to go to the gym or morning walks. Sometimes we have to carry equipment as heavy as 20 kilos.
Yeah.
Mostly at the airports.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, and from having photographed so many birds and animals and all of that, what similarities have you seen between the human kingdom and the animal kingdom, in your opinion?
Animal kingdom is more interesting, but they are not very different in real life. They also fight. They also fight for food. They also fight for a nest. And they also have, especially in mammals, they take such good care of their young ones. Extremely exemplary, especially these elephants and even the so-called cruel animals like lions and leopards. They take such good care of their young ones. They give them all life skills. Very, very inspirational.
Which was that species you were saying that they saw one of the members getting taken away by a predator and then?
Yes, I have to narrate that incident. It was in Rangantittu, and we were photographing a pelican. Pelicans, they come there in the month of, this is the season. They come to Rangantittu and they start building their nests. And they look for these small floating piece of wood or a tree branch. They come, they pick it up and they use it to make their nest. And in one such sortie, the pelican landed and it was trying to get hold of a stick, and suddenly from underwater, a crocodile came and caught it. And within 3-4 seconds, that is 3-4 frames, the crocodile had taken it underwater. And the whole sanctuary was full of these cries of the other pelicans. They were mourning the loss of one pelican, their own member. And it was echoing and reverberating in the whole sanctuary. It went on for nearly 2-3 minutes. You know, they also have that emotions and sense of belonging.
Hello, namaste, doctor.
Namaste.
Akhila Lamma.
Oh, namaskar.
नाही मिगेले एक क्वेश्चन मिळाली तुम्ही डॉक्टर जावन आसून तुमगेले वृत्ती आणि प्रवृत्ती त्या दोन्ही साइड बाय साइड कशी भरताची म्हणून
ना पहिले थोडे वर्ष फोटोग्राफी करनी. I started photography when I was about 45 years old. And actually, since last 2015 onwards, I am doing all these trips. And I am semi-retired, or I am partly occupied with profession. So
he's semi-retired when he works like 8 hours a day.
No. Now it's less.
now he goes early morning and wraps up by noon.
I have a question. A question, and thank you to both for the presentation. It was beautiful. And we have lived in North America and I'm asking it in English because I understand that there are some people who may not be following Konkani. We've lived here for 35 years, and we have a backyard that's full of North American birds. And we've also gone to different migratory parts where the birds have migrated from the south or the north, depending on whether it's spring or fall. But we are seeing that in the past few years, because of climate change, the birds are confused. And we can see that in our own backyard because we have seen the red tanager, we have seen the bluebirds, we've seen hummingbirds and all that. In your travels, many of which we have also gone, have you seen the climate change effect? Because looks like you are also going with experts guiding you, or how are you able to focus on one place and capture all those pictures? Because sometimes these birds or these animals won't be there because the climate has changed or something has happened.
Yeah, the main thing is global warming has made a lot of damage because the ice is melting faster. Glaciers are disappearing. And if there is not enough ice, polar bear will not be able to hunt. So we are seeing lesser and lesser number of polar bears now. And because of habitat destruction, habitat destruction, the migratory route and final roosting place of the birds is all changed now.
And also when we went to Dutu, the previous year, like my father has gone multiple times to Dutu. When he went with my mother, the whole place was green and there were lots of mammals.
Like sesame seeds thrown in the on the ground, you know. It was dotted like that.
And but when I went, the very next year, there were no mammals. But we saw something like 145 species of birds. But we didn't see mammals. We had to literally search even for cheetahs, and I saw one leopard. But when he went with my mother, they saw, like, every day they were seeing everything because it was, full of mammals.
Yeah, everything is dictated by availability of food and the warmth. Yes, please.
Kamata, Ganpati Kamata, Kilal Mamu. I have a question to you, sir. First of all, let me congratulate you. At this stage, you have selected a very nice pastime, shall I say, or a hobby, I don't know. you are doing a lot of, you have done a lot of research when you presented it. You have done a lot of research before you go to a place. So how do you select a place which you have to, how do you select a place which you have to visit next? And what kind of research you do before going there, or preparations you are making before visiting a place?
Yeah, now a lot of material is available on the net, and also lots of photo tour companies are operating. They would have done all the research and chosen the best season for this, best places to stay, best time to visit. So most of the things are all now sorted out. Only thing is when there is good season, or when there is a lot of opportunities, it also happens to be very expensive. So you have to balance both, reasonable prices and good viewing. So, and in nature, everything is a lottery. You may get it, you may not get it.
Thank you so much.
That is true. Very true.
Interesting. Yeah. Thank you so much. You have taken us to all the continents, and I did
Thanks to Akila and Mrudula.
Still,
She did say that it was going to be exemplary.
Such a nice, place to visit for those who are interested in wildlife.
Kenya. Kenya is a very good place.
Which months?
Probably I would say October, November, because during July, August, September, it's the migratory season. And it's very much crowded everywhere, and also it's very expensive. So just after that migration, November, it is very green, lovely. Grass is very low, and you can see the animals in full view. So that I would say that is the best time, both money-wise and view-wise also.
Kashyap is asking, when can we have an appointment to see your photographs?
Unfortunately, I am not printing them because it's a very expensive thing. So many of my photos are there on Instagram, and she will give out the handle.
Shanbhag photography.
Yeah, if you all want to follow Shanbhag Uncle, he's on Instagram, and he posts on Instagram very regularly. So you can definitely follow him there.
How many photographs have you taken, and how did you edit for this session?
This is a kind of compilation of my last 5 years photography, the best ones, and with some photo story. Like that, I must be having more than 10,000-15,000 photos.
Wow.
But, in photography, what happens is, in the same situation, we'll be clicking a lot. So more than a dozen of each. In that, we select the best one for your viewing.
Yeah, some like for us, I think some of the photographs are like a series which tell us a story, like the birth of the calf or something. But some of the others are just portraits of animals, so there you don't really want a whole bunch, so you just select one. But if it's a story, then you keep more.
Yes,
right?
more. Yeah.
And my dad, I think, has also done a little bit of street photography, and he's gone to Kerala last year. He went for the Theyyam and all that. So those are all like some
festivals,
new kind of things he's doing. Right? It's a little more interesting, different from wildlife.
However, Uncle, I'm curious when you go ahead, Akila. Okay. I'm curious, when you took the picture of the polar bear from up close, did you have to take any precautions before you did that, or what was your state of mind when you were taking that picture from 20 feet away and you had the polar bear?
Actually, the way it happened was, I was on the deck and taking pictures. Then Sudipta found out that you can also take pictures from the porthole. That is, our room was on the deck, but there were cabins on the ground floor or whatever, the lower floor, and many of the cabins had a porthole through which you can just put a lens and take the photos. And the credit should go to her for that portrait. She found out, and then she requested that person who graciously lent me a window, and I could take the picture.
Excellent.
That picture with the polar bear and the plastic, I think it is very, very meaningful.
Yes.
And I hope you send it to all the magazines across the world so that people realize how dangerous it is to put plastic or any material in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Actually, on one of the islands, it's an uninhabited island. We went to photograph walruses there.
Correct.
And while they were all taking photographs, I was picking, I found so many bottle caps and fishing nets. So in that hour and a half or so, I collected this much of plastic waste from an uninhabited island. Nobody goes there. But it's all just from the waves coming in, like wind and waves. That's what brings all the stuff in.
And one more interesting anecdote. We had gone to a small uninhabited island, and there were a few walruses. And I was busy taking pictures, portraits of the walruses. And what was Sudipta doing? There was one fallen log, and she sat there and she was meditating. So each one has
their
her
own
or his own interest, She was sitting there in the very calmly. She was meditating.
Nice.
Vikantana, you had a question.
No, I just wanted to thank you, Shanbhag sir. I'm Shrikant. I'm cousin brother of Kila. Beautiful pictures, and I think it is very uncommon to find a person who actually pursues their dreams and passions to this extent. And when you were talking about savanna and grassland, that reminded me geography and history, because those are my favorite subjects while in schools. And as you started giving commentary about each of the birds and the animals, it actually took me to our own Discovery Channel and the National Geographic. Okay, so you actually brought it very closer to us. So thank you so much. I think it's a rare opportunity for us to meet an individual who follows their dreams and pursues their dreams, and who actually converts their dreams and makes it closer to us, who are maybe not interested or don't have much passion in those areas, but you made it something likable for all of us. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Actually, the credit should go to my family, especially my wife, who supported me to the hilt, and she's the one who encouraged me to go out. She said, I'm not interested, at least you pursue your dream. My interest is only work. I find satisfaction. So by proxy, I did it for her also.
I've been convincing Sudipta to convince her mom to come on to a similar talk show with us. Because she tells us amazing stories about Geeta auntie also. So one question for you, Shanbhag uncle, how did you develop this knowledge of all these birds and animals? Like their names, their feet, what are they called, and what food, and what seasons, how large they are, and so on, right? Like encyclopedic knowledge.
No, that follows. Once you take a picture, then you want to know more about that. It follows. And remember also that hard disk space gets narrowed. You forget so many of your own professional things.
Yeah, I'll share one. Akira, can I share my screen?
Yeah, please.
I don't know, for some reason it's not happening. I wanted to share like a couple of other pictures from that. Let me try again. Not. Just show you how the boat was.
Ah.
So I'll see if I can. Yeah, so this is how the boat was.
Actually, I started shooting from here, from the deck. Then went down to get a closer shot.
Let me see.
What was the temperature like while you were outside on the boat?
It was maybe about 5 to 7 degrees during, yeah, it was not colder than that.
Yeah, only when you go on the zodiacs near the glacier, it is extremely cold, extremely cold.
Yeah, that was the only one, I think.
These are the fellow photographers.
These are yeah. This is like from one of the views from the ship, and when all of us did a fire drill, and this is you can
see the polar bear.
You can see the polar bear at the back. That's our chef and our stewardess. Yeah, it was very close to us, and it kept coming closer because we keep floating, right? So the flows keep moving, and you keep moving closer and closer to the polar bear. So actually, I think my dad started out with a long lens. And I was upstairs. I kept going up and down to see from different levels. And I saw that suddenly the polar bear was very close. So, I took the next lens and went down
Yes, correct.
to him, because the situation keeps changing. Okay, so it's 8:45. I think we have eaten up your Panchadik time. So
no, not at all. This is good enough Panchadik. I'm sure everybody is enjoying.
Yeah, I could see some of them taking notes. So I'm curious to see who's gonna make the next trip when COVID is all done.
Nice to meet all of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Mradula and Akila.
Thanks to all of you.
Thank you, Geeta aunty.
Thank you.
Bye.
So we'll stop the recording here.